Good morning, room 53. It's time to get started on our Unit 9, our first lesson today. So we're going to get started with our mental math and fluency. We've got some expanded form we're going to work on here. So as always, if you need to pause, you can always pause. If you have a whiteboard to write down your answers on, go ahead and grab that, or just a piece of paper would be fine. Remember, expanded form is breaking a number into its parts, tens and ones, or hundreds, tens, and ones. So let's get started. Our first number is 124. What is the expanded form for 124? Remember our little trick with this, that when we read the actual number, it actually gives us our expanded form already, 124. So what is our expanded form? Pause if you need to. Great thing about videos. The expanded form is 100 plus 20 plus 4. Excellent. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next one. Your number is 283. What is the expanded form for 283? Pause the video if you need to. If you said 200 plus 80 plus 3, you are a rock star. All right, you're ready for level 2. Let's do it. Here we go. Your next number is 399. What is the expanded form number model for 399? If you said 300 plus 90 plus 9, good job. All right, our next one is 207. Remember, there's two different ways we can write this one. Both are correct. What is the expanded form for 207? 200 plus 7 is correct, or if we want to remember to hold that tens place, 200 plus 0 plus 7 would also be correct. And level 3, let's do it, because you are rock stars. Your next number is 500. Couple different ways we could write this one as well. What would be the expanded form number model for 500? Pause if you need to. Here we go. You could just have 500 by itself, or 500 plus 0 plus 0. And our last one, I knew it was going to be 1,000, so just like we did for tens, hundreds, now we're going to throw thousands in there. 1,042. Two ways to write this one as well. Give yourself some time, pause the video, write it down, come back to me when you're ready. Your expanded form would be 1,000 plus 40 plus 2, or to hold that hundreds place, 1,000 plus 0 plus 40 plus 2. Excellent. All right, so we're going to go right into our math message. Our math message is going to look a little bit different today. All right. Back up a little bit here. So here's our math message, and then we're going to work through it. Two children want to share a sandwich equally. Fold a paper square to show how to divide the sandwich into two equal shares. Draw a line on the fold. Talk with a partner. You could talk with somebody at home. Did you both fold the square the same way? So maybe you can get someone at home to do this with you, or you can just do two different squares. You can actually cut a square out for yourself, okay? Or just draw a square on a piece of paper. Not a rectangle. So we need this to be a square where all sides are the same. If you're having a hard time cutting out a square or drawing a square, see if you can find something around your house or around the room that is in the shape of a square that you could trace. Okay. I'm going to ask you to pause the video so that you can do this. And when you're ready, you're going to come back and we're going to talk about what you did with that square. How did you fold it into two equal pieces? If you and I are going to share a sandwich and we want to make sure that we get the same exact size piece, we want it to be fair, how could you split that square? How could you split that sandwich? Draw a line or fold, depending on what kind of square you're using, and pause the video until you do that. Come back to me when you're done. All right, so if you are back, that means you have a square in front of you, two squares in front of you, folded or lines drawn in two different ways. Let's see what you came up with. Okay. So these are the two ways that we could split a square into equal parts. We could take this diagonal line right here and go from this corner to this corner, but it would still be the same exact size triangles. You also could take this line and go from top to bottom, but you would still end up with the same size rectangles. So if you just took your paper and turned it, right, you would still be getting the same. So there's actually these two ways that we could do it. In this one, we both get the same size rectangle. In this one, we both get the same size triangle. Now, we want to talk about what would we name these parts? What would we name one of these parts? What would we name one of these parts? There's lots of names for when we split something into two equal parts. Can anybody think of what that name is? What did we just do? We split the sandwich in half. Yes, excellent. So this is one half, this is one half, right? We split them into halves. We had two parts. This is one out of two parts. This is one out of two parts. Okay, so I have a little list here that I'm going to show you. That's going to be all the names that we can show for one of two parts. And then also on this list is going to be what do we call both parts? So when we have one of these parts that we're talking about, we can say it's half. We can say it's one half, like this with the word one, or we could use the number one half. We also could name it one out of two parts. Any of these names would be correct. Okay, they're all talking about the same exact thing. It's four different names for the same thing. If I want to talk about all of the shares, I say that I have two halves using the word two, or two halves using the number two. I can say two out of two parts, or this word right here is the easiest one to remember, whole. We're talking about the whole thing. Okay? So you're going to probably come back to this video. I may even take these and share them on our webpage because they are going to be so important for us to remember. And I have two more to show you. So if we were in class together, we would have a whole poster with all of these on them. But since we are doing remote learning, we have to be creative. So for now, they're in the video, but I'll try and get them up on the website as well. So let's take a look at this square right here. Right? Is this square showing equal parts, equal shares? Is this a half? Is this one out of two equal parts? What do you think? Hopefully you said no. You are right. There are two parts here, but they're not equal parts. They're not equal shares. This share is much, much bigger than this share up here. You can't just draw a line anywhere and say, oh, I have two equal parts. Right? They need to be the same size, like our square here and our square here. So we're going to move on next to four equal shares. So let's take a look at our squares here first. These four squares are split into four equal parts. Even though this one is triangles, this one is squares, and this one is rectangles, they're all equal parts. Each of these four people would be getting the same exact size part, no matter what the shape is. There's a lot more names for when we're splitting things into four equal shares. So come on over here and let's take a look. When we have something broken into four equal shares, we have 1/4, right, which can be written either one of these ways. So we'll just say 1/4. We can have 1/4. Okay, so if you think of quarters like we have money, it takes 4 quarters to make a dollar. Well, it takes four parts in these shapes to make the whole thing. So 1/4 or 1/4 or one out of four parts. These are all names for the same exact thing. It doesn't matter which one you use, it would all be correct. So this is 1/4, this is 1/4, this is one out of four parts. Now when we're talking about all the parts together, we're talking about the whole thing. We can say we have 4/4, 4/4, or four out of four parts. Again, these posters are going to be really important for you to go over, to practice. Okay, I'm going to give you a page today to help you work on this. And we may even possibly work on it tomorrow as well. I had another lesson planned for tomorrow, but it is so important and so much information that we might stretch it to tomorrow as well. All right, so we had our 2 equal shares and our 4 equal shares. Now we're going to go to our last one for today, and that's going to be our 3 equal shares. So we have our square right here, right? 3 equal shares, there's not many different ways to do it. You can go from top to bottom or from left to right, but if you were to turn this square, it would still be the same exact size parts, these equal rectangles. There's not a whole lot of names for this. It's very basic. 1/3 or 1 out of 3 parts. Right? 3/3 or 3 out of 3 parts for the whole thing. I like to just remember the word whole, but this is great practice to remember that things broken into 3 parts are called thirds. Things broken into 4 parts are called fourths or quarters, and things broken into 2 equal parts are called halves. Okay, or we can say are 1 out of 2 parts, 1 out of 3 parts, or 1 out of 4 parts. All right, so that's it for our mental math and our math message for today. We are going to do a math lesson together where we're going to make some equal shares with some rectangles. All right, see you in our next video.